Hi, welcome to my second vlog. It's technically going to be the first one I post on Facebook. So we're going to kind of touch in, and this is called What's on My Mind. What's on my mind today? Hatred. The media filled hate. The hatred filled media, I should say. And I'm really new to this. I don't understand a lot of the vlogging aspect, so a lot of this new stuff until I get a little better and a little more understanding of what I'm doing, it's gonna be rough. If you bear with me for a while until I get a little better, cool, thanks. I'm just trying to kind of touch on life matters and subjects. So let's start. The media. You want to see hatred, you want to see people with discontent, no desire to be better people, go read a media story. A political media story at that, which apparently they can't report on anything but politics anymore, so of course you're going to have hatred. One of the issues we have with that is, and this is my opinion, a lot of this is going to be my opinion. You like it, don't like it. Let's hear yours, but don't be a dickbag about it. I don't want to hear you be an asshole. So, one of the things I've seen lately is you want to get people going, post a video about this politician or that politician. Doesn't matter which one, what side. Just post a video about them, and you will get more egregious, hateful, filled comments than you'll ever see in your life. Then you got media outlets like USA Today, who ran a poll on how long the American citizens figure before a civil war breaks out because of Donald Trump. Really, USA Today? Shame on you. You're a bunch of jackasses. I would like to believe we ain't gonna fall into a civil war over a president. That before he was elected, even people who voted for him, at least I would like to believe, people who voted for him knew he was a bigoted asshole. We knew it. We understood it. We didn't vote for him because he was a squeaky clean person. We voted for him because, well, your other option was Hillary Clinton. I ain't got to say much else. And people who voted for Hillary, I'm sorry. Did you not see what she did with her own personal email server? Did you not do any research into her? Hillary Clinton is not a good person. She's a very evil individual, as are most politicians. They're evil. They're wrong and disgusting. They have no qualm about making decisions in Washington to benefit their personal financial standing. If something's going to pad their bank account or their pocket a little better, they're going to make a decision to help that group, individual, or whatever. Our country has become just as corrupt as it was in the late 1800s. Okay, back then, what helped fix the corruption was a rich president. So we elected a rich president thinking history might repeat itself. Well, we went about it wrong. And I'm not saying that we would have been smarter to elect Mitt Romney 6 years ago, whatever, back in 12. I'm not saying that. Mitt Romney's kind of a dickbag too. Liar. I'm in Utah, so anybody that doesn't know me, or where I'm at, I'm in Utah. I've got to deal with the fact that we're on a prayer that the state actually votes against a Republican. Yes, we do have a Democrat actually in office in Congress. So, out of this state, which was actually pretty smart, I actually did vote for him. But when I can't remember who was running against him, and their biggest campaign spew out was, I voted against Barack Obama. I don't support Barack Obama. Well, no shit. Pardon my language. I'm trying to keep the language down. we're going to try to keep this a little bit more classy. Anybody knows me, I like to cuss. I'm a sailor. That's just me. So, that being said, um, I did vote for a Democrat. I'm a moderate conservative. I like to believe. I like to write the line. I like to see things get done. I don't like to see the same old thing over and over and over again. The last two elections that came up that Orrin Hatch ran in, I voted against him. Not because I believe what the other candidates were saying 100%. Not that I thought they were great candidates for the position. I thought they were better than what Orrin Hatch had been doing and has done. Orrin Hatch originally, if my memory serves me correctly from what I read, I was not alive because he's been in office for 40 years. I wasn't alive 40 years ago. 30 years ago, yes. 40 years ago, no. So, if my understanding and my memory serves me correct, I read that Orrin Hatch ran on his first few election times he was elected was setting term limits for elected officials. Sounds like a great idea. I agree with it. I think it should happen. Now, this is the man who's been in Washington longer than damn near everybody else as an elected official. Do we think he's doing a good job? I don't. I haven't for years. Do I think that his presumptive replacement, Mitt Romney, is going to do a good job? No. No, I don't. Do I think our members of Congress need to pull their heads out of their ass and start coming to more of a common ground? Yeah. Definitely needs to be done. We cannot sit here and bicker back and forth. But that's exactly what we're going to get with two ideas, two thoughts. The more ideas and stuff that you compile together, the better solution you can come up with. Because you can take piece from this one, a piece from that one over there, a piece from over here, and you can build a solution. Rather than you got the right over here, and then you got the left way over here. And basically what they're doing is they got this aisle in the middle and they throw rocks at each other. Your idea is wrong, throw a rock. You're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And that's all you hear out of our politicians. Is the Democrats are wrong, or the Republicans are wrong. They're all liars. They're all this. What y'all don't realize is we all understand that if all the politicians in Washington had noses like Pinocchio that grew when they lied, the place wouldn't be a city, it'd be a forest. It wouldn't be the nation's capital, it'd be the nation's biggest forest. You're all a bunch of lying assholes. Nobody cares if you're believes that you're going to tell the truth. I mean, how many people in Washington gave the good old, yeah, I smoked pot in college, but I didn't in hell. Dude. George Bush, lame duck, whatever. At least he admitted, yeah, I like to put some stuff up my nose. Yeah, I like to smoke the hooter. Cool. At least somebody was honest about it. We can touch on legalization of marijuana on a different blog. That's not why we're here. Okay, so with this two-party system that America has, they're throwing rocks at each other, essentially. They hardly ever come to agreements on anything. Like, I'm damn surprised we have a single law passed in the last 20 years. Pretty much since Kennedy, our presidents have been shit. Have done shady shit. Like, I have noticed with Trump, the shit he said he was going to do in his campaign, he's been trying to do. He doesn't get help from Congress, obviously. Congress can't help each other. They're damn for sure not going to help the president. I've seen the Republicans kind of coming together to help support some stuff, but that's neither here nor there. They're not coming together with the Democrats to kind of come up with better ideas and come to a common ground. They can't even come up with that idea. The one time they have in the last year, they put out a few thousand-page bill on our the government's budget and spending. Didn't give anybody any time to read it, so it's basically this big stack of bullshit that nobody knows exactly what's in it, and we're probably putting money into accounts to cover their asses for more bullshit like their sexual misconduct account to hush up their victims. Why are there accounts like this? Our elected officials shouldn't need accounts like this. Why are there hush money accounts in our government? Well, that goes back to they're covering their asses, and they do that by causing hate and discontent in their citizens. And the media fuels it. Now, our media sources have become very vile and disgusting. You can't trust them to tell a story or to report a story truthfully anymore. They're gross. Then you think you can find sources that are fact checks that are going to tell you the truth or not, and come to find out they're swinging right or left, i.e. Snopes, they're very left. And then I think it was factcheck.org was found to be very right or something to that effect. Anyway, either way, those are used to be two very good fact-checked websites, but now that they are swinging politically one way or the other, you can't trust them. You just can't. And if you think you can, I'm going to disagree with you fully because, well, if you want a full factual thing, they've got to be very centered. They can't be right. They can't be left. They have to have an open mind, and they have to report truthfully and honestly, and apparently people can't do that if they have a journalism degree anymore. I mean, I've seen more videos of Maxine Waters asking for violence and harassment and pushback against the Trump administration. Okay, that's your right to protest something. It's your right. You have that right. But do it peacefully. Do it tastefully. Don't do it at their home. They're not going to your home and doing it. Do it at their... Do it in Washington, where they work. They're not... They're not going to ask for anything better. Maxine Waters, I think, is one of those politicians that's kind of lost touch with the citizens, which I think a lot of the long-standing members of Congress have. I don't think you really know what the country needs if you've been detached from it pushing laws. The longer you're in Washington, in my opinion, the higher the risk of corruption becomes. Now, if a guy was to go, or girl, if a person was to go and get themselves elected, spend a couple terms there, a few terms, like 2 or 3 max, maybe 4, probably at max 4 terms, depending on how long it is, because I can't remember which one it was, House or Senate, run a 6-year term. That one should be 2 terms, limited, just like the president, limited 2 terms. If you're running 6 years there, after that 6 years is up, bye. Or that 12 years after 2 terms, bye. See you, get. You don't need to be here anymore. You done overstayed your welcome, essentially. I've seen a lot of bickering back and forth over this SCOTUS decision. Well, I'm gonna be in agreement that it should not be done, but that's got to come back on Judge Kennedy. He's the one that decided to basically say, hey, I'm going to retire, and I'm going to retire July 31st. You have 6 weeks to pick my replacement. And it has to be approved by the House, blah, blah, blah. You can't blame President Trump for that. You can blame him for replacing him before that. But what the president should do is not appoint one. Wouldn't allow Obama to appoint one at the end of his term. This isn't a presidential election, I know this. But to a point where now would solidify shit going south in a hurry. So, and I doubt the president ever sees any of these, but I'm going to ask him right now. President Trump, do not. I ask you to not appoint a new justice, and obviously we're going to have to hold off on Supreme Court cases until then, but don't ask Judge Kennedy to stay, or don't appoint one until January. After the swear-ins happen, after all that's done. After the newly elected officials have taken office. Then, and only then, appoint your person. So, in that being said, let's push back against the media in their hatred and their filling us with hatred. So let's push back against Washington and stop them from being able to fill us full of hatred. Let's push for the change that is needed, but let's do it in a proper, tasteful way. Let's be good, honest people about it. Now, if we want to protest, let's do it in a tasteful manner. Protesting is fine. I got no qualms with it, but if you're going to be violent, destroy people's stuff that isn't yours, impede people's daily lives, and cause harassment to people who are just essentially showing up to go to work, that are indifferent to the entire situation, they just have a job because they got a family they got to support, please leave those people alone. Don't harass them. Don't be assholes, essentially. Pardon my language again. But let's be very kind, open, and smart about these things. Let's not be disgusting. Let's not be hateful. Let's be kind. Let's do kind acts. Let's be smart. Do the research into everything that the media is pushing. I've seen a picture of a little kid in a fucking dog kennel, just like the one I have for my dogs. Come to find out that coming from a couple of years, or a year or so ago, at a rally down in Texas somewhere. Don't really care. Really ought to smack the shit out of the parent of that child for putting him in a dog kennel. I yell at my kids for getting in a kennel. My dog's sleeping there. They don't need to play in it. That's just that. But that being said, I'm not saying the kids down there aren't in cages. I've seen pictures of what I've done the research that I could find. The pictures I've seen, I wouldn't necessarily call them a cage the way the media makes them out to be, but I wouldn't call it an ideal living situation either. I wouldn't say it's completely inhumane, but in a sense it is. The losing of the children, I'm not going to say that's on necessarily the president and his cabinet. I'm going to put that on the officials over that facility and over the situation that's going on down there. Really? Honestly, I'm not 100% sure, because I've heard it was Obama. I've heard it was all the way back to Clinton over this whole law, but I can't get a factual statement because I've seen it on Snopes that it was just Trump who done this. I've seen it on Fact Check that it was Clinton who made this law. There should be, essentially, to kind of deter the illegal immigration, there should be a zero tolerance for a time. Now, that being said, I know some illegal immigrants. I'm way past my time frame that I set, but that's just that. We'll probably leave this one on the YouTube page as well until I can actually get one where I'm not going to ramble on for 30 minutes to an hour. So, let's get back on subject. So, realistically, what is the point in separating the families? You catch them trying to come here illegally. Why are we separating them? They're coming as a group. Send them off as a group. Don't take the kids from their mom. Don't take the kids from their dad. The kids here coming by themselves, where America, we do need to step up and do something to help them. Not necessarily saying bring them in and house them and feed them and educate them and do that. Not a viable, or not a bad idea to go against, but not probably not the most ideal idea. We need to do something to help them if they are orphans, whatever. We also have a lot of kids on our streets that we need to kind of put at the forefront of the youth issues of homelessness or any of that of whatnot. You know, we need to take care of our own before we take care of others. I've noticed over the last 18 years, from the time Bush was elected, which well, it's a little over 18 years ago, whatever, to now that it has been the policy of our presidents to police other countries, put other countries ahead of the United States. Trump's trying to, in my eyes, I think he's trying to put America first again, but I don't feel that he's going exactly the right direction with this. Um, I agree that there should be kind of a equal line across the playing field in trades. You know, we shouldn't sell shit in Canada for free when we import their shit and they're charging us to do so. So essentially, you know, what's good for the goose is good enough for the gander, you know, type of deal. What's good for us is good for them. And that's how it should be. You know, they shouldn't be allowed to charge us for their goods if we can't charge them for our goods. And that should be standard across the entire planet. That, I mean, just that. But a trade war, I'm not sure that's best for business, essentially, best for the country. But hey, that's not my decision. I'm not the president. If I was, I probably would have sat down with Bernie Jr. or whatever his name is up in Canada. He's kind of a... he's off his rocker just as well, but that goes back to he's a politician. They don't know their head from their butts. We elect them on their ideas, and basically what I think the most politicians and people running for office do is they go out and they hear what the general mass majority of the people want to hear, and they spew it out their lying little mouths until we fall for it and we go ahead and we vote for it. Well, we're the ones that enable this. We're the enablers for our politicians. Yeah, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm drinking beer. Don't judge me. It's only my second. It's only whatever. I'm not drunk. That's what I'm getting at. I ain't intoxicated. Probably had enough that I'm not going to drive anywhere else today, but I'm not intoxicated enough that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Anyway, enough of me. Who cares what I do? I ain't out to hurt nobody or can do anything stupid enough to hurt anybody. Back on the subject of our politicians, okay? I don't think they have a care for any of us. I really don't believe they care about the citizens they serve. They've proved too many times that they essentially don't. They have no disdained feelings of the citizens they serve. They're out for personal gain and higher political standing in their name. So, essentially, you can't trust them. Obviously, we've enabled this lying system, and that's essentially what it is a bunch of lying assholes, to happen because we're too ignorant to, say, stand up to Congress to stand up to our elected officials, to stand up to the government and say, hey, look, enough is enough. If you're not going to do your damn job for what we elected you for, then we're not going to elect you again. Nope, we don't do that. Instead, we say, oh, well, you only had this amount of time to try. We're going to give you double that. We're going to go ahead and give you another shot at it. And fortunately for a president, you essentially got two shots to get it right. You don't get it right, oh well, you just go down as a shitty president. And that's what will be taught to your grandchildren, your children, and everybody that comes after you. That you go down as a shitty president. As much as people like to believe Obama's going to go down as a shitty president, no, he's going to go down as a mediocre president. Not as a good one, not as a great one, not as a horrible one, because I didn't agree fully with him. But I think he was smart when he ran. That's how he got elected. And essentially, after a lame duck, they're gonna. You could almost classify Obama into the lame duck category. He didn't do that much good. He didn't do much bad. He didn't do much of anything. I mean, a little more than Bush, not much. A little bit, but not much. He lied a lot. I mean, there's IG reports coming out left and right over some of the BS that he did while he was president, i.e. the Iran deal. That was a horrible deal. Anybody that had a brain and read the damn thing knew that it was a horrible idea and that no president should have signed it, regardless of their political beliefs, whatever side they believe on, right or left. It was a bad deal. And then trying to get banks to fund or change money over for Iran. Yeah, I'm not certain Obama actually verbally said to these banks that or even wrote the letter, but I'm not going to discredit anybody in his cabinet doing so or on his orders. Obama wasn't dumb. By far was he not dumb. He just was essentially too scared to fight back and stand up for what he believed in truthfully. He kind of let the puppets hang him, the puppet strings hang him, and dance him around. That's my beliefs on Obama. I believe that was with Trump, or not Trump. Trump really don't have a qualm to pissing off anybody. That's why I believe Trump is actually not a puppet, and he actually stands for himself and thinks for himself instead of letting Congress and whatnot think for him. And that's what I believe the last. Let's see, gotta count up the presidents since Kennedy. So we had Lyndon B. Johnson. We had Nixon. We had Ford, who really just wasn't given a chance to do good or bad. I mean, you replace President Nixon, you're kind of SOL. So, anyway, yeah, I mean, we had Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama. So, essentially, the last 8 presidents have been pretty well puppets on a string. Too scared to piss people off, too scared to piss off Congress. Too scared to do what they think is right, regardless of what the next person's going to think. That's how I feel the presidents have run. I mean, they didn't push back when pushing needed. They just kind of fell over, rolled over, and did what was whatever, right or wrong. I feel that Trump's attitude of I don't give a shit if it pisses you off. If I feel it's right, that's what needs to be done, is a great one. Is his ideas right? No, probably not. Do I feel that we need to have more people with kind of that attitude, but with better ideas put into office? Yes. I believe that we need to get a bigger pool of ideas in Congress. i.e., more libertarians, more socialists, more uh, Green Party. I'm not even sure. I've not really looked into those guys. Kind of looked at a little bit of Jill Stein's policies and was like, wow, this lady's batshit crazy, whatever. But that being said, New York over Democratic uh, candidates over or whatever, a socialist is basically running the Democratic spot in Senate and somewhere in New York. I didn't really read into this. Heard she was a socialist and wanted free education for all. The problem is we still ain't figured out where the hell this money's coming from to pay for this free education, because you think you're going to tax my ass to pay for education, for free education, higher education for everybody, when I'm too stupid to even get it on my own. You're high. I'm not sorry. This self-entitlement needs to end. You ain't got given nothing in life. You're never going to be given anything in life. You need to get out there and bust your ass. We're fighting this ideology of if you don't believe what I think, then you're wrong, and I'm offended by what you say. Uh, this PC society really is not good for anybody. Um, yeah, some things need to be PC'd, but other things, it's like, really, just stop. Just, just stop instantly. Some of the feminists out there are completely off their damn rockers, and that goes back to the other end of the extremism, which I don't even know what that would be, but this baby everybody BS is wrong. I heard somewhere that the University to of Texas has deemed that masculinity is a mental disorder. Fuck you. I like to hunt. I like to fish. I like to golf. I like to do whatever. And there's the F bomb. That one is just irks me. I ain't got no mental disorder because I'm a man's man, because I do a manly thing. My wife's laughing at me. I'm flipping her off. It's my walk. Leave me alone. Don't judge me. You probably heard most of it. So, anyway, she's a butthole. I love her, but she's a butthole. She's trying to throw shit at me, but she can't even get it. Ah! Anyway, but that goes back to the University of Texas. Really? Masculinity is a mental disorder? Well, that's just basically saying that feminism is a mental disorder. That you can't have one without the other. Embrace your sex. You embrace yourselves. Don't fall into this bullshit of we gotta baby everybody. Quit raising sissy ass kids that can't fucking do shit. And this one can't go on my Facebook page because there's a couple F-bombs in there and I don't want that. So, really, I'm running longer than I wanted to on this one, so we'll kind of cut it into here somewhere. But realistically, what I'm getting at is, I think a lot of the hatred from our media and our politicians is because of a disdained loss of connection with the people that they're serving, and that they're losing touch with reality. And so the only way they can justifiably help their cause is to push the hatred of the people against them. And the media eats it up and forces it into our house. So instead of letting the media and Washington run and ruin our lives like they have and cause, and if you don't think the media pushes hatred, go look at all of it, not just one side or the other, because let's ignore this hatred. Let's not let them win with it. Let's go out and be kind to one another and do things for people out of kindness, not out of glorification, not out of any of that. And once we show them that they can't win with this, and that we start actually doing something about it, only then I think will they realize that it's time for them to go, not to run for more. I'm gonna end this here. Y'all have fun. Take it easy. If it's easy, take it twice, and if it's fun doing that, name it after me.